Hey guys, I'm DaigoUKnow and this is Daigotaku. I'm doing a top 10 for anime I haven't seen yet. Fuck it. Number 10, Neon Genesis Evangelion. I know what you're going to say, but Daigo, it's a classic. How come you haven't watched this yet, you stupid sack of lard? Well, since you asked so nicely, allow me to enlighten you with this surprising revelation. I like to watch things that are available online legally. Shocking, I know. Who would have thought a nanny tuber in the current year would want to watch something for free legally? The ads aren't even that long, you stupid sons of... Look, I get it. You can find it pretty much anywhere online, and there's probably some DVDs or Blu-rays you can find on eBay or something. But here's the thing, I'm not into legal streaming anymore. I just don't like their practices, and the only way I can see myself watching anything on them is if there was no other way to do so. Which, ironically enough, is the only way to watch this without actually buying it. As for why I haven't picked up the series for collection purposes, I'm short on cash at the moment, plus I'm a lazy schlub who doesn't have a job yet. The surprises just keep coming at you like a brick to the head, don't they? And before anyone asks, no, I'm not getting paid through YouTube or any other online means. This is more for recreation and a way to get my opinion out there, even if people supposedly don't agree with it. Bottom line, if I get the chance to buy the series, and maybe even the movies, you can bet your ass I'll pick them up there and then. But, until then, NGE takes low priority compared to others on here. So forgive me if I don't want to give Kiss Anime ad revenue over a single mecha anime. Number 9. Katekyo Hitman Reborn. A battle shonen where the main character is related to a mob boss? I'm sold. I wonder how long it... Oh... Over 200 episodes. Well, that's a deal breaker. Left swipe. I'm mostly joking when I say that, but the episode count of a series is definitely a big factor of when I'll watch it, and Reborn is no different. I actually saw some of the openings a few years ago and liked what I saw, hoping to pick the series up when I had time. Then other things happened. New games came out, I had just started watching Channel Awesome content at the time, and I was generally a dipshit. I've been experimenting with ways to watch longer shows for some time now though, and I'm pretty close to starting some based on this method. I may end up making a video on the subject if I find it important enough, but given how people feel about long-running anime nowadays, it'll clearly be needed. So while Reborn is longer than most of the stuff on here, I'm confident I'll find time for it in the near future. Number 8. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The one from the 2010s, not the OVA. I'm just as surprised as you are with this one. JoJo is one of those things I could easily get into, but just haven't. I've seen the memes, I'm friends with fans, and I have projects that take a bit of inspiration from it. Hell, I even checked out Bennett the Sage's hour-long video on the OVA series, and yet, I still haven't watched a single season. I know some of the details, like how it revolves around a family line and not just one character, as well as Stans and the infamous Dio Brando. However, I'm sure there is more to it that makes it worthy of calling itself bizarre. Since it's separated into multiple seasons, that makes it more accessible than Reborn, and with the Part 5 adaptation confirmed, that gives me and others all the more motivation to check it out before then, so yeah. Number 7. Bakugan. I mean Bakuman! Fuck! Wow, a couple wannabe mangakas trying to make it big while still in middle school? How compelling. I was honestly not interested in checking out this series. Like, at all. But given all the positive press it's gotten over the years, it's become a near inescapable entity that just won't leave me alone! A 20-volume manga, a 3-season anime, a novel, and a fucking live-action movie! It even has a video game! For the love of fuck, why? As I started to get back into YouTube and tried becoming more competent as a writer, the premise grew on me, as did my desire to watch the show. Albeit it was a slow process, but still. Maybe it'll be that one show that'll help me get out of this creative rut I've had in the past few months. Whether it does or not, I'll at least make time for the first season. Number 6. Higurashi. I'm not big on horror. I was never really into it. I always thought I'd have nightmares and end up changing my long johns in the middle of the night. So I just avoided anything related to it until like 5 years ago. Higurashi was just another one of those things I didn't really bother with. Even after I got over my fear of anything horror related, I just didn't want anything to do with it. Despite it being considered a classic, I just couldn't see myself watching it. It was probably because of the cutesy art style, but given my mostly positive feelings towards Elfen Lied, that criticism's clearly subsided. Maybe I'm just worried it'll be that one horror show that gets to me too much. I don't know. All I can tell you is that I plan on watching this when October hits. Why? Because my birthday is on the 24th and I hate myself. Number 5. Psycho-Pass. A cyberpunk anime produced by Production IG. That's cool. After finishing Be the Beginning a while back, I began to regret not watching much from that studio. Hell, if not for them, we probably wouldn't have these. As for Psycho-Pass, it's another one of those shows I really want to watch, but just haven't had the time for. That, and I heard its second season sucked. With how well received it is though, there is clearly something about this series that clicked with people. Plus, the guns look cool. Just going to throw that out there. Number 4. The Monogatari series. I'll admit it. I'm a sucker for the harem genre. I just like the idea of multiple personalities gravitating towards someone who is considered an everyman. Not to mention, the hijinks that ensue can differ a bit from series to series. Though I haven't seen anything of this show, I did check out Juni Taisen, which was adapted from another novel from the same author. I found its characters to be pretty enjoyable and endearing, and though the story structure was extremely formulaic, I liked its approach. So obviously I became more curious about Monogatari. However, one thing that keeps me from starting it is how much material there is and the fact there's a certain order one needs to watch it in to piece things together, at least from what I've heard. Probably not the best excuse, but it's still kind of annoying that I can't just watch something based on when it aired. Nevertheless, I really want to check it out, and am looking forward to seeing what it has in store. Number 3. Everything Gundam that isn't Iron-Blooded Orphans. I haven't watched much of IBO, but what I've seen of it is cool. I like mecha anime, and hearing there was a Gundam series that takes place outside of the 100 or so timelines that are considered canon really set my mind at ease. The series as a whole, though, is so big, it's no wonder I haven't watched anything else of it. I mean, how do you people not lose your minds trying to keep up with this shit? Trying to get into this series is bad enough as it is without the spin-offs being mentioned, or learning there is a hobby specifically for building and painting models of the eponymous robots. I even have a friend who's entered competitions to see who can make the most cluster-fuckingest model there is. There have been some entries that stand out on their own and have garnered their own followings to the point that they're practically their own thing, so I guess that makes it a little easier to start. If I ever feel like really getting into this series, I may start with one of the more popular or accessible entries, like Wing or Build Fighters. I've heard that Build Divers is decent, so there's always that one too. Number 2. Food Wars. From what I could gather, this is basically One Punch Man, but instead of punching, there's food orgasms. Why haven't I watched this yet? And the number 1 slot goes to... Steins Gate. I kind of have mixed feelings on the idea of time travel, especially in fiction. Unless there are clear rules in place on how it works, the story can end up being nonsensical and, in the worst case scenario, insulting to my intelligence. Much like Lifetime movies. Steins Gate seems to be one of those shows, and a visual novel adaptation no less, that has garnered quite a lot of praise. Though I can't speak for the game's quality since I don't have the $30 needed to play it on Steam, the series is clearly popular even outside of these roots. I mean, come on, we just got a sequel this year. It's produced by the same studio that made Re:Zero, and I really liked that one, so there's a chance that I'll like Steins Gate, right? It's definitely at the top of my priority list. If there's any show I want to check out soon, it would definitely be Steins Gate, if for no other reason to say that I actually watched it, so the stigma of not doing so can finally go away. There are tons of more shows I want to watch, so expect this video to get a sequel or something. I might actually make this a series if I'm bored enough. I just really wanted to share some that I thought would lead to some interesting discussions. What shows have you guys not watched? If some are on this list, do your reasons differ from mine, or are they pretty much the same? Be sure to tell me down below. This has been DaigoUKnow, and I'll see you on the next one.